What's going on, everybody? Right behind me on the table I have a little box, a very special package thanks to Hasport. I gotta say, earlier I was on Instagram Live just going over what I was doing for the day, and I actually got it from UPS as I was on live, and I was really itching to open it up, but I wanted to save it for the video. So without further ado, I'm just gonna set this down and walk us through the unboxing of it. To our left, we have our all-wheel drive B-Series transmission. Here I have my nitrous B-Series motor, which is going in the CRX right there for all-wheel drive. Now, something very important that people have been having trouble with in the past when doing all-wheel drive conversions is the mounts themselves. Some people have Frankensteined certain brackets to fit, some have welded on custom mounts, but there's never been a drop-in kit that really gives good clearance, and a few companies that have tried to mimic it really haven't been able to achieve the best, which is why Hasport has released their, in this case, EF/CRX all-wheel drive B-Series mounts, and they actually have mounts for the rest of the Civics and whatnot as well, so definitely check them out. Their website has everything listed with different urethane ratings and whatnot. All right, while I get to opening up this package, I just want to start off by saying a huge thank you to Hasport, the whole team over there, especially Brian, for hooking me up with these mounts. We are definitely going to put them to good use, and I was so stoked when I got this earlier. I really wanted to open it, but obviously I wanted to keep it for the video. So just opening up our package. Oh, thank God. I love when things are shipped without packaging peanuts. It really just makes the packaging so much easier to open up, and it does a much better job than having packaging peanuts everywhere. Set that off to the side. Each mount is individually wrapped with its own packaging. I'm just gonna take them all out right now. That way we get the box out of the way and I have a clean work area. Start off by opening this large package on this corner, which is none other than the T-bracket itself. One thing that I love about this kit is that it actually does come with the T-bracket exactly where you need it and how to mount the transmission and engine in the correct location rather than having a bad angle of the tilt of the engine and transmission and causing axle bind and all that. This has the correct one. Moving over to the next mount, we have the transmission mount itself. So this is what you're going to be using specifically for the all-wheel drive transmission. Without this, you can't really have good clearance between everything that's going on in the engine bay. That's why it's so important that you get the correct mount kit for your conversion. Next part right here. I always love Hasport mounts when they come in billet, especially because of the beauty and attention to detail. We have the custom engraved Hasport made in USA mounts right here, billet aluminum. Beautiful finish on them. The urethane is, I believe, 68, the one that I got. It's for more of a streetable, since it's not as crazy race car as the Integra is. This is still gonna give us some comfort for the street. So this looks to be the driver's side. It has the two hole location for the bolts right there, so we can use on the post mount. Then this one right here is the actual rear mount. So this is gonna go to our subframe itself and then connect here to our T-bracket, like so. Super clear to go in. It actually has very good clearance, and you can tell that it's just a perfect fit right there. Can't wait to get it onto the car. And last but not least, we have all of our hardware here. This off to the side, which is actually really nice. It's a whole bag of hardware right here. Not many companies supply you with stuff like this, which I always love about Hasport. It's always a drop-in kit. We've got all our hardware from bolts to nylon inserted nuts and a bunch of washers to go perfectly with all of this. And we can't wait to put this in. I think actually I'm gonna cut forward to a couple hours from now if I get the bolts that I need for the flywheel, and then we can actually put the swap into the car. Okay, it is the next day right now. I have the CRX placed back there. Engine and transmission is already on. I just put the clutch on last night. I also have the transmission mount and the post mount already bolted onto the engine and transmission. Now there is one more mount that I need to put in. That would be this mount right here, the rear mount. And this goes right where these old rusted OEM bolts are. Just gonna remove that. And this sits like so. Very good fitment, very good clearance, and it also comes with the necessary hardware to install this, which in this case are these two M10 bolts along with the corresponding washers. Okay, so the rear mount is already in place and torqued down. We also have the rear T-bracket that goes corresponding with the mount kit, obviously, that's Hasport supplied us with. I'm just gonna set the camera down on a time lapse right now. It's pretty simple. I'm just gonna put the engine attached to the hoist with this rope. You can also use a chain or whatever you have to your preference. I'm just gonna drop the motor and you'll kind of see how I do it over the time lapse. The motor's in. Just take the camera real quick and give you a little walk around. So far I have the transmission mount on. I also have the post mount on. Rear mount is mounted onto the subframe. T-bracket is not in yet, but since we don't have the intake manifold on, this is gonna be super easy to slip right on. Normally T-brackets are these big bulky things to fit around other components. This thing is super slim and feels super sturdy. So literally this is just gonna go right over top, and there it's already aligned. It's literally a drop-in swap. I freaking love this kit. It's amazing. But yeah, motor's in. I'm just gonna pull the hoist out of the way. I'm gonna bolt up the T-bracket, and I'm gonna test fit the header because I really want to see if I'm gonna be able to clear it. I think with the angle of it, it might actually be able to go right under this front frame, the radiator core support. So I think we'll be okay. If anything, I'll just have to modify a little bit within the inside, like this brace, but it should be okay, so I'm gonna start doing that. All right, so I have all of the motor mounts actually 100% on, including the T-bracket, all the corresponding hardware, and the rear motor mount. My boy Khalid came by, he's chilling, doing some work on the computer, keeping me some company. The next thing, I wanted to put the header on, test fitting it just by hovering it over. Like I mentioned earlier, it is way too long to slip in from the front. From the bottom, it's not going to be able to fit either. I tried maneuvering it around the OEM traction bar component thing. I'm not sure if that's exactly what it's called, but I tried maneuvering it over this. It's not going to clear there either, so I think I'm going to end up just dropping this. It's pretty simple. This has a couple brackets welded onto the tow hooks, and then it also has two of which I think are 19mm bolts. If I can focus right there. So two on each side, and then the tow hook bolts that should drop down, and then I can slip this over and test fit that right there. And I'll probably put the valve cover back on and the intake manifold just so it can kind of sit pretty and look nice. So after a little face shield action and some grinding, this guy's shaking his head at me. So I'm not sure if this is how it is OEM. We're gonna be replacing the OEM traction bar anyways with an aftermarket component. I'm more than likely going with the innovative kit, but I'm not sure if this is OEM as well as this, but it's all tied together, and that was basically welded onto the OEM traction bar, which was part of the radiator mount. This is all getting replaced, so using the aftermarket components. So now that we can pull this off to the side, which I'm gonna set the camera down and do, I can actually test fit the header because there is a bunch of clearance right now. You said you were waiting for something to catch fire?
I was waiting.
Oh my gosh.
No, we're good. Waiting. Okay, we're gonna have a repeat of I tried to disconnect I tried to do something and then burned my fingers.
Remember that when my hand caught on fire? That was good times. This header actually fits a lot better than what I thought it would. Just gonna get a bolt just to hold it up there.
Like,
Dang, this tastes, not taste. I said just this taste.
I can taste that.
I can taste them sparks.
Yep.
These sparks taste great.
Finally understand carburetors.
You finally understand what?
Carburetors.
You don't know how carburetors work?
Dude.
It's recording, by the way.
Wait, is it recording?
It's recording.
And all of a sudden, it's like, I can see clearly now the rain is coming.
Really?
Yeah.
And the intake manifold has great clearance in the back. It's got a lot more room than I thought, to be honest with you. I thought I was gonna have to, move some stuff around. I always thought that Bs into EFs or CRXs were pretty tight, but that's mostly just for K-Series. Okay, that pretty much sums up the video for today. We have the mounts already in the car with the engine and transmission installed, the intake and exhaust manifold loosely placed onto the motor, that way we can start testing the clearance. We have our traction bar, the OEM one from the factory, taken off so we can start looking at aftermarket options, and we are pretty much set to do the next portion of the build. For the next video, I really want to touch base back on the fuel system because we were able to think about how we're going to route everything. We picked up the fuel pump, but we really need to actually install everything, especially now that the engine is in the car. We can place the fuel filter within the engine bay and look at clearance and whatnot. And last but not least, thank you so much to Brian from Hasport. Make sure to check out their information down in the links below. I'm going to link the actual kit that I have as well as their other all-wheel drive mounts and their website, of course. Definitely have a wide variety of different mounts, swap kits, and a whole bunch of things that you would need when you're modifying these Hondas specifically. If you aren't already subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe, and the like button always is very appreciated by us. I'm kind of twisting my tongue right now, but let us know what you think in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.